Hello, this is TVWAN Midday News. Thanks for joining us. The little village of Baguale in the Ward 18 area of Kutubu local level government of Nipa Kutubu district of Southern Highlands province was lit up this week by solar lights, an initiative of President of Kutubu LLG, John Pipi Kila. The solar lights project was launched in the village a fortnight ago.
Situated at the border of Ella and Southern Islands provinces, Baguale village has never experienced electricity since 1975. This will now be a thing of the past as Kutubu local level government, under the leadership of President John Pipi Kila, has bought solar lights to light up the village. These solar lights were switched on this week after its commissioning a fortnight ago. President Kila said bringing such impact projects like solar lights helps people to do their businesses in the village as well as other costs. He said the main beneficiaries of such projects are the schools and hospitals.
Santos and something block of people, no school, so Santos helping all Kedana, all Karamigabli. No cycle member and talk. Bamin billing and never put him half money, and never put him half. So never put him half of them. 200,000 never put him, 200,000 and never put him. Never put him half of them. So we can't walking one blood, big blood, double classroom here. Double here.
Mr. Kila thanked Santos and member for Nipa Kutubu, Dr. Billy Joseph, for making this fruition. Without their help, the solar lights would not make it to Baguale village. The solar lights cost about 50,000 kina. President Kila also acknowledged the support from Southern Islands Governor William Powi for assisting the people of Kutubu through various projects.
So instead of Oida Faso, you know, one block, Pagoletaso. If Pagoletaso means anything long time, but Pagole population, but you need a big. So me look Faso side, me look Foi side, me look run water, and then even Homa Fawa too. Me say helping some money the chess, rope.
Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
The country's first junior technical high school will open its doors next year for pioneer grade 9s on the island of Norriton, Kakar Island in Midday province. On Tuesday, July 23rd, Talang Primary School officially opened its double classroom, which will use next year when the school enrolls its first grade 9 intakes and upgrade its standard to junior technical high school standard. Kara Bagel, the Provincial Vocational Education Training Coordinator from the Education Department, said that the concept for junior high school in the community is in line with the government's education restructure rollout program known as 1.66. This is to ensure that high schools are closer situated to students so that they don't have to travel out for their villages and districts for further education. A cold start to winter has driven demand for electricity to record levels. The high demand puts pressure on the electricity grid and pushes up prices. The federal opposition is promoting nuclear power as a solution, but Australia's leading engineers have serious concerns.
Through late autumn and early winter, had people in southern states turning on their heaters, pushing demand for power to the highest ever levels for this time of year. Costs were high too. Wholesale electricity prices were 23% more than the same time last year. The weather conditions also meant less wind and rain in Victoria and Tasmania, and less wind and hydropower for the grid. Gas-fired power plants ramped up to meet demand, which costs more.
In the budget we had our electricity bill rebate that'll start kicking in to help people with some of those costs.
And nuclear energy, along with renewables, along with gas, is absolutely the answer for our country.
The coalition is pushing its plan for 7 nuclear power plants. There's still no detail on costs or types, but Peter Dutton believes it can happen in a little over a decade.
We can have nuclear into the system 2035 to 2037 in the first 2 sites, and then we continue to roll it out from there.
The nation's leading engineers have looked at small modular nuclear reactors and found the cost and operational performance hasn't yet been demonstrated. And that likely won't happen until the mid to late 2040s.
It is incredibly risky to bank on small modular reactors. The best bet is to urgently invest and roll out the renewable technologies that we already know work.
We need to do this transition now. We can't afford to wait for nuclear.
The timelines and expected costs of the coalition's nuclear plan don't stack up. Labor's plan requires a rapid acceleration of the rollout of renewables and plenty of gas as a backstop. With most of the nation's coal-fired power stations to shut down over the next decade, what happens in the next few years will be crucial.
Researchers at Queensland's James Cook University have had their most successful year breeding epaulette sharks, also known as walking sharks. They can survive on a little to no oxygen. Now their resilience is being tested to check the health of the Great Barrier Reef.
Spotty and shimmering. In this lab, researchers are breeding epaulette sharks.
We'll palpate the females. We just sort of feel her abdomen to see if we can feel if she's got eggs.
Known as a walking shark, it moves on its fins, surviving with little to no oxygen.
It doesn't look really tough in terms of a shark face, and it's not very bitey, but it's really tough in terms of what it can tolerate,
making it an ideal species to study.
So I'm currently working with what would be considered an early juvenile stage, so about 2 to 3 months old.
Eggs have been incubated at different temperatures and exposed to varying acid levels. The juveniles are also tested in how they adapt.
As babies, we know that they're a lot more sensitive to elevated temperatures. That could compromise growth, it could compromise their metabolism, and it could compromise their survival.
The epaulette shark can be found along the entire length of the Great Barrier Reef. But with little movement between colonies, the species has genetic diversity, ideal for studying the effects of climate change.
That way we can really tease apart all of these different traits that are necessary to cope with these challenging stressors.
Scientists hope the shark inspires reef conservation efforts.
We just need to find that one thing that people can latch onto to care about, because it's so worth it. So worth it.
When we introduce the community, the general public, the kids at school to the epaulette shark, everyone falls in love.
Australia is in the midst of a baby recession, with a new study indicating the sharpest drop in the births since the 1970s, when the contraceptive pill was introduced. The research from the KPMG found couples are delaying or putting off having children altogether because of rising cost of living.
Daniel Rosno have a passion for baking and started their own business in Melbourne 1 year ago. They've been married for 2 years and are just as passionate to have children.
Yeah. Oh, maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, if Mum's watching this, she'll definitely love to have some grandkids.
But for now, it's a plan that's off the table. The reason? Affordability.
The cost is crazy, so we would love to have a certain amount and, you know, be really financially stable before we even try.
And there are many couples in the same boat, according to new research from KPMG that found Australia is in the midst of a baby recession, with around 26,000 fewer babies born in 2023 compared with the post-COVID spike in 2021.
And we had to sort of look back to the sort of 1970s to see that same level of decline coming through the numbers.
The biggest declines are in the major cities, with birth rates in Sydney, Melbourne, Perth and Brisbane down significantly from 2019 levels. And birth rates in most regional areas are also down, but not nearly by as much. Researchers say the national decline of 4.6% is being driven by the rising cost of living.
So people who are thinking about starting families, you know, the mortgage and the rent's kind of the first thing. If they're struggling to pay those, having a first child or additional children becomes a really tough financial proposition for them.
While only Canberra and Hobart bucked the trend with slight increases, the national birth rate is not expected to improve anytime soon.
It wouldn't be a surprise that next year we kind of see a very weak number, and even the year after that.
I don't think we could potentially afford it this year. That's what we're trying to save up to for next year.
Saving for a bigger...
Wansquad, Papua New Guinea's electrifying dance crew, is making waves once again. This professional troupe, now 7 members strong, includes the latest additions, brothers AJ and Joseph Ravo. The full lineup boasts Ryan Nang as manager and creative director, David Tree as dancer and crew leader, alongside talented dancers Fred Matthew, Joel Vene, and Lyd Nadil. We caught up with Ryan Nang over the weekend for an exclusive interview before the team jets off to Phoenix, Arizona, to compete in the World Hip Hop International Dance Championship from August 13th, competing against 58 other crews from around the globe. Wansquad is ready to showcase months of grueling practice and dedication.
Now we're made up of 7 members. Yeah, the journey so far has been incredible, especially with new, freshmen in the team. It's give that little bit of different flavours to the team and our journey and our vision for what's to come for Worlds this year. So the journey's been tough again. The pressure's on because we came 4th last year. A lot of expectations and standards for us to come back stronger this year has been pretty crazy. So very excited for.
The first contingent of PNG athletes participating in the Paris Olympics have arrived yesterday in France for the opening ceremony. They were Taekwondo duo Gibson Mara and Kevin Kasman, Leonie Bau, and the PNG Olympic team officials headlined by Ryan Pinney and national boxing coach Peter Morrison. The remainder of the team is expected to join them before the official opening of the Paris Olympics, scheduled for tomorrow, July 26th. The opening ceremony of the Olympics, for the first time, will be held outside the stadium and is expected to see a massive turnout. PNG has sent 7 athletes to participate in boxing, swimming, athletics, taekwondo and weightlifting. John Ume from boxing was a late inclusion and he is expected to join the team soon. He will be the first PNG athlete to participate in the event. He will bout in the 63.5 kg division on Saturday. Taekwondo will be the last of the Team PNG fighting on August 9th to 10th to round up the events for Team PNG. And that ends our midday news update. Join us for more at 6 p.m.